Hello dear students, I am Dr. Shikha Pandey, Associate Professor from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So today we are going to discuss on the topic that is fly ash. It's a source, composition and utilization. So let's start this lecture with the fly ash introduction. Means what is this fly ash? Fly ash is nothing but it is a coal residue that has been generated during the combustion of coal in thermal power plants. So we can say that it is one of the residues that is created during the combustion of coal in coal-fired thermal power plants. And fine particles that will rises with flue gas and are collected with a filter bag or sometimes electrostatic precipitator. This fly ash is a waste product, that is a byproduct material that must be decomposed or recycled. And fly ash is considered as amorphous and mixture of aluminosilicate. So this is about the fly ash. Fly ash is nothing but it is a small particles that has been generated during the from thermal power plant due to burning of Indian coal, because in India we are totally dependent for the power generation on for electricity generation. We are totally dependent on thermal power plants. So in thermal power plants, coal is there. That coal is used to burn. That coal is used, and due to burning of this high grade Indian coal, that is bituminous coal, this fly ash has been residue is producing, because due to the burning of coal, very little fine particles is there. That particles is called as fly ash, and all thermal power plant has been installed the electrostatic precipitator or sometimes filter bag is there. They will collect the fine particle and then it's dispose it in an open dumping site or sometimes in a slurry pond. By making it slurry with water, they will dump this fly ash. So due to this totally dependency on thermal power plant for the electricity generation, this fly ash is a great matter of concern, because fly ash has some useful properties as well as some negative properties also. So with the combination of these two type of fly ash, the fly ash utilization is very much important, because today's days too much amount of fly ash is producing due to this burning of coal, and this fly ash has some contents is having some toxic metal is there. But on the other side, fly ash has many physical property, like it has a low bulk density. It will increase some nutrients is there, so that sometimes it will be act as manure also, and sometimes it will be act as a heavy metal source also. So now let's discuss the types of fly ash and what is the composition of this fly ash. So because fly ash is a byproduct material, that is chemical constituents, and it can vary considerably, but all the fly ash include silicon dioxide, calcium oxides, that is known as lime, or iron 3 oxides, aluminum oxide. So these are the main compositions of fly ash, like SiO2, then CaO, then Fe2O3, then aluminum oxide, Al2O3. So these are the combination of fly ash. So fly ash having silica, calcium, iron, aluminum. These are the majority of element that is present on the fly ash. And on the other side, sometimes depending on the source of coal, it may have many toxic chemicals in trace amount. And the example of this trace metal are the arsenic, beryllium, boron, cadmium, chromium, cobalt, lead, manganese, mercury, molybdenum, selenium, strontium, thallium and vanadium. So these are the trace amount of some metals that is already present in the fly ash. So, and it has some chemical constituents of the fly ash is like silicon dioxide is there, calcium oxide is there, iron oxide is there, aluminum oxide is there, and some trace metal is also there. Now comes to the types of fly ash. So according to ASTM C6061, they have defined two types of fly ash, class C and class F. So the major difference between both of the type of fly ash is that class C fly ash is the amount of its composition, silica composition, calcium composition and alumina and iron content in the ash. So this is the major, only these are the basic difference between both of the class of the fly ash. So first discuss about the class F fly ash. Class F fly ash is those fly ash that has been produced by the burning of harder and older coal, that is anthracite type of coal, means high grade coal, means those coal which is high grade in nature. So by the burning of these two type of coal, this class F fly ash has been generated. It will contains less than 20% of lime. Class F fly ash has contains less than 20% of lime, and it requires cementing agents like PC, quick lime, and hydrated limes. And next is is that it is used in high sulfate exposure condition, and it can be used as a structural concretes, HP concretes, high sulfate exposure and concretes, and useful in high fly ash content concrete mixes. It will be mixed with concrete, and it can be useful in high fly ash contents. So this was about the class F fly ash. It will be mainly produced by the burning of anthracite and bituminous harder coal, and it will have less than 20% of lime. It have many cementing agents like PC, quick lime, hydrated lime, and it is used in high sulfate exposure condition. So this is about the class F fly ash. Now comes to the class C fly ash. Class C fly ash has been burned by the younger lignite and bituminous coals, means low grade coals. This can be produced by the burning of low grade coal. So this low grade coal is the lignite and subbituminous coal, and it have a very high concentration of alkali and sulfates also, and it contains more than 20% limes. More than 20% limes means in class C fly ash, lime percentage is more than 20%, and class F fly ash lime is less than 20%. So this is the major difference between those two type of fly ash. And first one is the class F fly ash is generated due to the burning of high grade coal, that is bituminous coal, anthracite coal, and this class C fly ash is produced by the burning of lignite and subbituminous coal. It will contains lime contents is more than 20%. That's why it is having a self-cementing properties. That's why class C fly ash is having a pozzolanic in nature. Pozzolanic in nature means cementing property is there. Cementing property is there in this class C fly ash. Like that, it will not need any kind of activator because more lime is there. It will not use for high sulfate condition. Primarily residential concentration is there, limited to low fly ash contents. This will concrete and mixes. So this was about to the class C fly ash. It will be limited to low fly ash contents like concrete mixtures, and it does not require any kind of activators also. And it is having more than 20% of lime content. So this was about the class C fly ash. Now comes to the point that is about the utilization of fly ash. Why this fly ash utilization is important? Because what happened in India totally dependent on thermal power plant for the electricity generation, and thermal power plant is using coal as their source. So by the burning of coal, this fly ash has been generated. So fly ash has been generated. So in this way, lots of fly ash is there. Many fly ash has been coming due to the burning of coal. That's why its utilization in different area is very important, because fly ash becomes a kind of solid waste. So its disposal or will create many nuisance to the environment. That's why it is a kind of that solid waste which is very important to utilize in different area, because fly ash sometimes causes air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution. Many pollution will create because it contains some toxic element, and that toxic element, due to leaching, it will enters into the groundwater, and it will be very light particles, so it will be very much easily dispersed in the air. So due to dispersion of this fly ash particle in the air, it will causes air pollution also. And due to its more amount of generation is there, so its utilization is very important. So that this utilization of fly ash, we can use it in the agriculture, building material, brick construction, and we can use in agriculture as a manure. Next is the building material as a cementing property is there, so that it can be used as a brick making also, brick construction, minefields, and then metallurgical processes. It can be use of new raw material. Next is the environmental control. Sometimes this fly ash can be used as a lining for this, so that it will not going to enter into the textile in the form of geotextile, that can be used. Road embankment, it will be used in the embankment of the road. So these are the different categories where you can utilize this fly ash. Because fresh concrete, if we'll use it in a fresh concrete, it will going to what the benefit it will cause. and this will be the benefits of using fly ash in the different sector. So if we will utilize this fly ash in the concrete area, then it will going to increase the mix stability, pumpability and placeability of this concrete, and it will be going to reduce the water demand, bleeding and segregation. Like that, in case of it will be going to increase the durability, like it will reduce the chloride in gas, that will ask permeability, and it will going to increase the sulfate resistance, acid resistance, seawater resistance. Like this, in hardened concrete, and those concrete which is hard in nature, it is going to increase the ultimate strength, ultimate stillness and pore blocking, and it will be reduce the creep, drying shrinkage and thermal strain in the concrete also. So these are the benefits that has been associated with the fly ash. It has a many useful property, because this fly ash is a byproduct of byproducts of thermal power plant by the burning of coal. So coal will always have carbon, nitrogen, all important nutrients is there. That's why fly ash has some nutrients also. It is having a good amount of silica, so that it is having a cementitious property, so that it can be utilized in different sector to utilize this fly ash, because the fly ash generation in India is too much, and its utilization is very important, because in open dumping area it will created too much nuisance also. Now comes to the utilization of fly ash in different areas. So fly ash utilization in the agriculture. In agriculture, as we know, Indian fly ash is alkaline in nature, and it is going to improve the soil quality. So due to its alkalinity in nature, it is going to improve the quality of soil. So research conducted by MCEB, it was found that with dose of 10 metric ton per hectare and just 50% dose of chemical fertilizer, there is increase of 20% yield in terms of grain and fodder. So this was about the utilization of fly ash in the agriculture, because with the mixing of manure fertilizer, this fly ash can be act as a good soil nourishment, because it has been found in many research that due to addition of fly ash as a manure, the productivity has been increased 50 times and 50% dose. In fact, in 50% dose, the yield is increased up to 20% times. Next is the mine filling. It can be used in the mine filling also. Utilization of fly ash in mine filling has a potential to consume large quantity of fly ash, because the single application of fly ash can utilize about one fourth of the total fly ash generation. So this mine fill, in the filling of mine, it is having a very large amount of fly ash can be consumed in this area, and with a single application of fly ash, it is going to utilize about 1/4 of the total fly ash generation. Like in metallurgy, the fly ash contain about 20 to 25% of alumina, and this has been done by the CPRI Bangalore. They have developed a process to extract alumina from fly ash. So this utilization of fly ash in metallurgical department is also very good source of utilization of fly ash. Like in precast fly ash concrete units, it can be used in production of various type of precast building unit, like liquid and solid and hollow core slabs, doors and windows frame. Clay fly ash brick means fly ash can be used for making bricks, brick making with the mixing with the clay, and about 0.25 to 0.80 times of clay can be replaced by fly ash, and the residual carbon content in fly ash bring about an economy in fuel consumption during firing of bricks. Next is the cement. Fly ash being an artificial pozzolanic material that can be used for manufacturing of Portland or pozzolana cements also, as partial replacement of cement in mortar and concrete. So this is utilization of fly ash in cement is a very good source, because fly ash is having an artificial pozzolanic material, and that can be used in the manufacturing of Portland pozzolana cements as partial replacement. It can be a replacement of cement in mortar and concrete also. So that this utilization of fly ash in cements, fly ash brick is now very much practicing in our country, and many cement industry is buying fly ash directly from the thermal power plants. They are utilizing this fly ash for the cement production, and they are utilizing sometimes brick making. They are utilizing the fly ash for the brick making, because due to the brick making, if you will utilize the fly ash in brick making, it will be a good source for the utilization of fly ash. Next is the building material. Building material is again like fly ash is a pozzolanic material that is containing silica in a very good proportion. So it has tremendous potential to be used as an alternative material for building construction. Next is the road construction material. Utilization of fly ash in bulk quantities for road works, depending on the intersection between coal ash and subgrade soil. Road embankment. What will happen in this area? Lower unit of weight reduces dead loads and induce settlement of subsoil. So higher shear strength compared with low unit weight of good bearing support and ease of replacement and compaction, it can be reduced construction time and cost also. So this was about the utilization of fly ash in different sectors. Like it can be used in a brick making, it can be used in the road embankment, mine filling, like road construction material, building material. So these are the sectors where we can utilize the fly ash for its better utilization, because the amount of fly ash that has been generated today's world is too much, is an enormous amount. So its utilization is very important, because this fly ash will contains many negative effects, like it will create air pollution, water pollution, groundwater pollution, many pollution is there. Now comes to the next thing, like the uses of fly ash, where this fly ash can be used. So it deals the heat of dehydration, and this is going to reduce the thermal cracks in the concrete. So due to this heat of hydration, this thermal cracks in the concrete can be reduced, and it will be increase the workability of concrete also. It improves the workability of concrete. It mixes with the mixed homogeneous and hence reduces segregation and bleeding. It will reduce the segregation and bleeding and with the mixing with the homogeneous mixture. And this concrete finish is improved due to perfectly spherical fly ash particles, and the concrete permeability is substantially reduced, which enhances the life of the structures. Like the next point is like the fly ash contribute to the long-term strength in the concrete. So this utilization of fly ash in concrete area, in concrete, is having much beneficial. And like that is reclamation of saline soil using fly ash, like 75% of gypsum it will be going to save. And due to this, the fly ash embankment in the country has been made in the Okhla flyover in New Delhi. This Okhla flyover in Noida has been made by the fly ash only. Now comes to the next thing that we are going to discuss about is the disposal of the fly ash, because disposal of fly ash is a very great concern, because and it is a problematic also, because too much amount of fly ash is generated in today's days, and its utilization and its proper safe utilization is very tough. So in the past, fly ash produced from coal power plant was simply entrained in flue gases and released into the environment. So this practices has been done from many times. Like it should be collected at one place and then dispersed or release it into the environment. So now in US, EPA regulation require greater than 99% of total fly ash produced in a plant to be captured or either stored, recycled or disposed. So this is as per the EPA regulation, this will require more than 99% of total fly ash that is going to produce in a plant, and it should be captured either you should be stored it or recycle it or disposed it. And on the worldwide level, if we talk about the worldwide level, so more than 65% of the fly ash produced in the world is disposed of in landfill or ash pond. So India, not alone, fly ash landfill comprises 65,000 acres of land. So this fly ash landfills needs in India is 65,000 acres of land is needed in India. So this was about the disposal of fly ash, how to do its disposal, and it is mandatory for every thermal power plant to utilize their fly ash in some area. You cannot dispose it into any way. so that all fly ash should be given to any cement industry, or it should be utilized for the brick making, or for it should be proper utilization, or if open dumping is there, then you should plant trees on this also. So two type of disposal method is there. First one is a dry fly ash disposal. Next is the wet method. So in a dry method, where fly ash collected in EP and then transported to fly ash bunkers, where using pressurized air, and that then gets transported via truck or conveyance at the site, and disposal by constructing a dry embankment. Next is the fly ash that is collected from ESP, electrostatic precipitator, that has been installed in every thermal power plant. Thermal power plant. So it is going to collect the fly ash inside it, and it will be mixed with water to form slurry, and when this slurry is transported through pipe to the ash pond or dumping area near the plants. So this wet method is there. It should be mixed with the slurry water and make a slurry. Slurry is there, and this slurry should be transported through pipe or ash pond or nearby dumping areas. Next is the environmental consideration of disposal. Means this fly ash disposal has a great concern with the environment also. What will happen? This environment aspect of fly ash disposal aim at minimizing air and water pollution. So this fly ash disposal is basically aimed to minimize the air and water pollution that has been associated with this fly ash dispersion. So this fly ash reduced by thermal power plant can causes all type of environmental risk. It will causes air pollution, water pollution, groundwater pollution, not only water pollution, and the soil pollution, and the surface water pollution. So this air pollution is caused by direct emission of toxic gases from the power plants, as well as wind blown ash dust from ash mounds or ponds. Surface water is there. Surface water, the wet system of disposal in most power plant causes discharge of particulates ash directly into the nearby surface water system. Next, groundwater pollution. The long storage of ash in pond can causes leaching of toxic metals from fly ash and contaminate the underlying soil and ultimately the groundwater. So for air pollution, this is caused due to that dispersion of this fly ash particle into the atmosphere, because this fly ash particle is a very fine particle, and it is a wind blown particle, and it is kind of dust also. So that this will causes air pollution. Next is the wet disposal. Surface water pollution. How this will happen? During the wet disposal of fly ash, most of the power plant causes discharge of particulate ash directly into the nearby surface area, surface water like river system. So it will be directly discharge of this fly ash into the nearby surface area. So this, it is causing surface water pollution also. Next is the groundwater pollution. So this long storage of ash in pond causes leaching of toxic metals from ash and contaminate the underlying soil, and ultimately it will enters into the groundwater. So this was about the groundwater pollution. In this way, this fly ash contents causes air pollution, water pollution, sometimes soil pollution also, because of toxic metal is there. Toxic metal, arsenic is there, lead, nickel, chromium is there, and during the rainy season, due to the leaching, this will going to enter sometimes soils also. During the open dumping, this will contaminate the nearby soils also. In this way, this fly ash is very much problematic in nature, because it is associated with all kind of pollution. So to reduce the pollution and to reduce its environmental effect, proper management and proper handling of fly ash is very important, because it is very much, and it is producing in an enormous amount that we cannot handle it. That's why its proper handling and care is very important. Now this is about the schematic pathway of pollutant that is moving around a fly ash disposal. So here it has been explained, it's a pathway of this fly ash. So what will happen? Fly ash pond is there. This is the fly ash pond. So in the form of slurry, the ash will enter into this pond. Due to the surface runoff, it is going to pollute the surface water from surface runoff. And next is the wind transport, it will causes air pollution. And next, atmospheric fallout, and again it will goes to the surface soil pollution, surface water pollution, and from surface water pollution it will enters into the groundwater. This is very much problematic. And surface water, during the process of leaching, due to the leaching of heavy metals from this fly ash, it enters into the deep soil, and due to this, dispersion and diffusion is there, surface water, surface runoff is there. So these are the schematic representation of the dispersion of this fly ash, means how it will going to enter the surface water, how it will enter into the air, how it will enter into the groundwater. So this is a different kind of pathway that has been associated with the disposal of fly ash, and that has to be considered, because this is the pathway in which it is polluting the air, water and soil. Now its utilization in different field, like what is the advantages of utilization of fly ash. Now the advantages related with the fly ash utilization. So the main advantage that is related with fly ash utilization is that it will save the space for disposal, means disposal space has been saved due to its and next is the utilization in different area. If we'll utilize the fly ash in cement property, if we'll cement industry, brick making, then the disposal space is going to be reduced. It is saving of scarce of natural resources, because it will save the natural resources. Also energy saving, because of the material is automatically produced as a byproduct and no energy is consumed for its generation. And secondly, because it can replace material which otherwise would need to be produced by consuming energy. So this is about the energy saving also. So this is the advantage that is related with the fly ash utilization. Energy saving, firstly, because the material is automatically produced as a byproduct and no energy is consumed for its generation. And secondly, it is going to replace material which otherwise would need to be produced by consuming energy. And protection of environment means, first very important point related with this advantage is that the protection of environment. As in construction, it can partially replace cement, production of which entails energy consumption and carbon dioxide emission. So this is the advantage that is related with the fly ash utilization. It will be going to save the space of disposal, save the scarce of natural resources. Energy saving also, firstly, because the material is automatically produced as a byproduct and no energy is consumed for its generation, because for the generation of fly ash no energy is consumed because already it is a byproduct. And secondly, because it can replace material which otherwise would need to be produced by consuming energy also. Next is the protection of environment. Protection of environment is very much important. So these are the important points related with its advantages of proper utilization of fly ash. Now comes to the disadvantages that is related with the fly ash utilization. So what will happen? Groundwater contamination due to surface runoff that will carrying the ill-treated fly ash, means those fly ash which will be left over, this will be not treated properly, it will going to leach out into the groundwater. So groundwater contamination is the major disadvantages related with the fly ash utilization. It cannot be used for structure requiring shorter setting time, a demand which is expected by most of the engineers and builder. It is very difficult to use in winter season due to further increase in already longer settling times. So it needs a longer settling time. So this view with the demand of longer settling times during the winter season, it is very tough to utilize it into the household activities. And it is difficult to control color of cement that is containing fly ash. The color of cement will contain fly ash. It is very difficult, hence a bit problematic to use, where cosmetic quality plays a significant role. So this was about the disadvantages that has been related with the fly ash utilization. So this fly utilization is very important today's world, because our country is producing more amount of fly ash, and due to more amount of fly ash, more fly ash is there, and its utilization is very important. So some advantages and disadvantages is already related with this fly ash, but the second disadvantages is that it will going to contaminate the groundwater due to runoff. Sometimes ill treated fly ash is there, so this runoff is causing disadvantages of fly ash, means it is going to contaminate the groundwater. It cannot be used for structural, requiring shorter settling times and a demand which is expected by most of the engineers and builders. So it will be not up to that mark, like cementitious property. It will be not up to that mark, so that will be not a choice of engineers or builders. And it is a very difficult to use in winter season also, because it is going to season due to further increase in already longer settling times, and difficult to control color of cement containing fly ash, hence a bit problematic to use where cosmetic plays a significant role. So these are the advantages that is associated with the fly ash utilization. Now we are at the place of conclusion of this lecture. Like, fly ash can be proclaimed as one of the most advantageous waste material. See, this is a very important point. It can be a very advantageous waste material. Waste material. And it can be using it as a construction material will not only help in its disposal, but will also add strength and durability of structures. Since the current uses of fly ash in India is still 25% and below 45% even in the developed countries like US, there is a whole huge scope of fly ash in the upcoming years. So let us harness $1 billion resource that has been wasted so far. So this fly ash is a waste product, that has been generated from thermal power plant by the burning of coal. So what will happen? But this fly ash is, on the other hand, very much advantageous, because it is having a very different quality. It has having some positive quality, like it will improve the soil quality. It will going to act as a soil conditioner. If we will add this fly ash with manure, then you will get a 20% hike in the yield of a plant. So that the utilization of fly ash in agriculture is the best way for this utilization of fly ash, because utilization of fly ash in brick making is not much successful, but its utilization in agriculture is much successful. Many researchers has reported that if they will add 5% of fly ash in mixture with the garden soil or manure, they will get yield, increase the yield up to 20% and 30%. So this was a tremendous result we get after adding fly ash as a manure or byproducts. That's why the fly ash is very much important for the utilization in the agriculture industry, and this fly ash is a very important source for today's world, because fly ash contain many useful property that has been important for the growth of a plant. And only negative thing related with fly ash is that it contains some toxic metal, and during the rainy season this toxic metal will leach out from the fly ash, and it will enters the groundwater. Due to the entering into the groundwater, it is polluting the groundwater. That is the negative thing that is related with the fly ash. So this lecture was about fly ash. Its utilization is very much important, because its utilization will causes its, then only we can utilize fly ash in different sectors. So thank you for today's lecture. This was about fly ash. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.